Welcome to Pub Football. Miles and Jimmy here. That's it. It's over. Premier League season 2019-20, the longest season in history. It's finished at the end of July. We now know who's relegated. We know who has the Champions League places. We know who won the league. We knew that a while ago. And we know who's in the Europa League. There's been heartbreak. There's been elation, jubilation, every emotion you could possibly imagine. Just another Premier League season, really. And yesterday's games were no different. Watford's had an absolute mare, to be completely frank, in the first sort of 25 minutes, and then played really well. But yet again, too little, too late. Same can be said for Bournemouth. Aston Villa, like I said, scraped a draw. It's all they needed. Wolves got picked off by Chelsea, really, and Man United got another penalty, which took them past Leicester. They were the key games. Realistically, we'll start with the relegation scrap. Does Aston Villa stay in the league? Watford and Bournemouth go down. And to be fair, across the season, I'd say Aston Villa have probably been the most consistent of those three.
Yeah, I completely agree. As you say, they have picked up enough points. They've been the better team of the three. I feel sorry for Watford because it was just too little too late yesterday. They were absolutely battering Arsenal in the second half, and it just wasn't enough. And when Danny Welbeck scores, you know you're not going to win. So, yeah, it's quite interesting to see. But fair play to Villa. They're holding on towards the end, but they got the job done.
Watford had the chances. Well, there was a huge save from Martinez on the Welbeck flick, which could have changed the game, really. If he'd scored that, it would have been 3-3. And I think Watford could have gone on and scored again. Deeney missed an open header. There were chances. There were definitely chances to score, and Watford just yet again didn't do enough. And honestly, I think they deserve to go down. You say you feel bad for them. You say it's unlucky. Across the season, they've not been good enough. I think there are problems with attitudes. It took them to the second half yesterday to really show any fight. The only two games I've seen them play well in were both against Arsenal this season.
Yeah, I think obviously the manager changes. When you change your manager 4 times in a season, you are buggered. Let's be honest, you've got no chance. And a lot of goals, avoidable goals as well, especially the third goal for Arsenal was such poor defending, it's unbelievable. And it's just things like that. You take that goal away, they get a point, they're nearly there. It's such a shame. So they've got some really good players, and you wonder if the likes of Ismail Assar, Will Hughes, Delafeu are going to stay there now.
Starkeys and Delafeu both all get Premier League moves for me. Troy Deeney has been saying he's had a good run. He's not sure if he'll stay. I'm not sure. I don't know who picks him up. Maybe Palace. Beyond that, there's not many teams left who probably want Troy Deeney, to be completely honest. I don't think he's been that great this season.
No, I think if you keep the spine of that side, I think Will Hughes is massive to that side. I think Foster will carry on. But yeah,
if I'm Leeds or West Brom, one of the teams coming up, I massively look at Will Hughes. Ismail Assar, I think, could get a move to a top 8 side comfortably.
Yeah, no, I agree. It is the big one. If you can keep a nucleus there for Watford, they'll come back up again. But as you say, I think a lot of them are going to go. It's just going to be a bit of a shock for the next couple of seasons. But Bournemouth, fair play to Bournemouth. They gave it a right good go.
Again, too little, too late. They started playing 2 weeks ago. They started the season 2 weeks ago. They've been rubbish till then. Even after the restart, they were hopeless until they played Spurs and got the draw. Yeah. And then after that, they decided to start playing. But you leave yourself too much to do. Why is it these teams all of a sudden look like Premier League teams again when it's too late?
I completely agree, and it's going to be interesting to see if Eddie Howe stays there now, or if he goes to, you know what, I've done enough. I've taken him down, I'll leave now. So it'll be interesting. But as you say, all of them just played sort of the last couple of games of the season, decided to kind of perk up. Solanke started scoring goals, and yeah, it's a shame, but yeah, never mind.
Man City will be licking their lips because they'll get Nathan Ake a lot cheaper now. You've got Callum Wilson will probably get a Premier League move, I would think. Josh King is likely to get a move. They might might end up at teams like Spurs as a backup for Harry Kane. There are plenty of teams that will be after them. Ryan Fraser's already gone. Brooks,
David Brooks will go in
the Premier League. Harry Wilson, who they got on loan, is a player who I would say would probably stay because he's not been very good this season.
No, agreed. So yeah, again, they're going to lose a lot of players, aren't they? And it's a big rebuilding job at Bournemouth, so it might take them a few years to recover, to be honest.
No. As for Aston Villa, honestly, I think the worst team of the 3 player for player, but like I said, deserve to stay up more because they've been more consistent. Jack Grealish may now stay at the club. Personally, I don't think that's good for his career. I think he needs to go somewhere where they're going to play good football and really make the most of his talents. But job well done. They can now dip into the transfer market, see if they can get a bit more Premier League quality in there, and have a good crack at moving up the table next season. Because with teams coming up from the Championship, they've got every chance of improving on this season.
Yeah, definitely. I think his job was basically just to keep them in the league this season, wasn't it? Just whatever means, keep them in the league, get more money through the door. And as you say, you could pick up some good players now.
They're a more attractive proposition. They're a much more attractive proposition than teams like Brighton.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And I expect them to go from strength to strength next year, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if they finish mid-table next year.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. As for Man City Norwich, who got the prediction right? Get it. When Norwich went 1-0 up, but it was disallowed, I was like, oh, here we go. And I messaged you saying Norwich City 8, and then it was disallowed. The one time you predicted them to lose. But gone with a whimper. One of the worst teams in Premier League history, actually, on 21 points. It's really, really bad. And we kept singing their praises all season about the way they played.
Yeah, I thought 8 was quite over the top, but we nearly got there. So yeah, they're just so poor. They're such a lovely football side, but they can't get results for a lot of money. And they got battered. And fair play to David Silva as well. It's nice to see him go out with a decent win.
Champions League positions. I'm gutted. So I wanted Leicester to finish in the Champions League. I think the first 3 quarters of this season, they've been brilliant. They had such a big lead, but at the end of the day, if you throw away a 10-point lead, you don't deserve to be in there.
No, agreed. And see, it's just been so poor since lockdown, hasn't it? They've been awful. I know they've had players injured, players suspended. I know that's slowed them down slightly, but their form has been awful.
And depth isn't good enough then.
No, typical United. Typical United. Another penalty. It's unbelievable.
Most penalties in Premier League history in a season.
Was it 17? I think it was.
Ridiculous.
It was crazy. And he was always going to score, wasn't it? It doesn't matter what Schmeichel was doing on the line. He was always going to score. And fair play to United. They've been brilliant for the last 8 games, and plus probably about 4 or 5 before the lockdown. So they've been fantastic, and they deserve to be in the Champions League, 100%. Chelsea
got the job done. Difficult game against Wolves, which has knocked Wolves out of the European positions at the moment, depending on what happens in the FA Cup final. Coincidentally, Wolves now need Chelsea to do them a favour next week, unless, of course, Wolves win the Europa League, which would put them into the Champions League.
Yeah, agreed. Well, fair play to Chelsea again. It was always going to be a tight game. I did watch about 20 minutes of it, actually, and it was very, very much stalemate, a bit like a game of chess. Nothing's really happening. And then 2 quick-fire goals just took it away from them. And fair play. Lampard's had a fantastic season. He really has. And they don't win the FA Cup.
Good season. He's laid foundations to build on now. For him, I would say he's overachieved this season. When you think, yes, there's been up and down moments, but at the start of the season, Chelsea fans were like, we want Lampard in. We don't care if we finish 10th. We want to see young players played. Well, what's happened is Lampard's come in, the young players have been played, and they're finished in the top 4. There's not much more they can ask for than that.
No, agreed. And it's nice to see the young players have been blooded in. It's nice to see Gilmore get games. Mount's had a fantastic season. Tamore's done okay when he's come in, and hopefully that kind of leads the way for that to happen more next season. Obviously, they've brought a couple of players in already, so CX's on his way. Werner was there yesterday, so if we get a couple more through the door, I think they're going to be a really, really strong team next year.
FA Cup final, Timo Werner coming in, Hakim Ziyech coming in, Havertz looking strongly linked, like he's coming in. Very exciting time to be a Chelsea fan.
Big time, and annoyingly, I think they're going to win the FA Cup next week, which will really, really put the knife in. But yeah, they're looking great, and I hope you really built it, 100%.
Just quickly mention Spurs Palace, as Tottenham have just about got themselves in the Europa League. Thursday night football again next season. Draw against Palace took them above Wolves into 6th. Got the job done, did enough. Mourinho, I guess, almost did the job he was brought in for. Champions League would have been the goal, but this team needs a major revamp before that's going to be happening.
Yeah, as you say, it's a big summer for Spurs, isn't it? They've got to keep hold of Kane, and they've got to get rid of quite a lot of the dross. So it'll be interesting to see what you do in the next 10 weeks. I think you need a serious overhaul.
Now, I don't particularly want to play Europa League football. I've started to agree it's a distraction. I think for when we were just coming into being a European club, it was great. And it's great for teams like Wolves and Burnley are in there. The teams that just won European football, fantastic. But now I think we need to be in there to attract a level of player. If we're not Chelsea, we're not Man United. We can still attract the top players without being in Europe. And Tottenham need to be in Europe. So being in the Europa League might get us across the line to attract those players. Get them in, fail the qualifiers, lose the qualifiers, and get out of the competition.
Do you honestly think Mourinho's the man to get you back in the Champions League? Honestly,
it's an interesting one because actually, if you look at the form we've been in since Mourinho's been at Spurs, Tottenham are a Champions League club.
I just feel like he's going to
points gained since he's been there. Tottenham are in the Champions League, so. You can't really argue with that, and you can't really argue with his track record. When was the last time he didn't qualify for the Champions League, having a full season with a team? He took the Man United side to second in the league. It might not be pretty. It might.
Yeah.
The problem with Mourinho is that because of the brand of football he plays, the losses are so over-exaggerated. So when you lose or you draw against a team that maybe aren't great, it's all doomsday, end of the world, because the football's bad, because the brand of football's bad. So when you do lose, you look terrible. But when you win, it's okay because you've won, but the game isn't great, so you don't get that high from winning necessarily. But the low of losing's worse. So that's the problem with Mourinho, and that's why people don't like him so much. Whereas if you look results-wise, he's probably could be the man to get Spurs in the Champions League. He'll make it more solid.
Yeah, I've got a feeling he's going to throw a massive kind of paddy halfway through next season, and it's all going to go wrong, and you have to start again. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what you do next year. It really will.
Just want him to lay some foundations, like he almost did at Man United. To be fair, he laid some foundations, and Solskjaer's gone and set them free. Lay some foundations, get in a younger, more energetic, less stringent manager, and see what can happen with Tottenham, because Tottenham have been on the cusp of something amazing under Pochettino, and maybe it took a slightly different style to get there, and it might take this manager and the next manager, but I still feel like Tottenham on the cusp. We've got the infrastructure, we've got the stadium, we've got three-quarters of the squad, I guess. It's just that final hurdle. And
I think if you lose Kane, it's massive. If you've got to keep Kane, 100%. I feel City and United are going to be going for it to try and get him, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think City more so than United. I think United will be happy with what they've got. City will be aging Aguero. Gabriel Jesus is going to step up. Man United will think they've got Rashford, Martial, Greenwood. We should be okay, but we'll see. We will see. I also think Tottenham will see Man United as more of competition, direct competition than Man City. They should be thinking they're all direct competition, but that's just the way football goes. Anyway, that was Pub Football with Miles and Jimmy. I think we'll do an FA Cup final special later on in the week. We don't do the FA Cup till the final and jump on the bandwagon around here. We're going to do some Pub Football awards in the next few weeks as well. We've got loads lined up over the summer. We sort of had our break during COVID, so I think we're just going to crack on through because football starts again in a month. There's only one thing to say. Cheers.